The auditorium was silent, so silent that even the air felt tense. The smell of anticipation lingered in the air as the lights dimmed, and the audience of chefs, critics, and journalists leaned forward. On stage stood Kennedy, a young orator known not for culinary expertise but for his stirring speeches that had recently gone viral for their emotional depth. The event was the Global Culinary Summit, a place where the worlds of food, art, and storytelling collided. But no one expected sparks until Gordon Ramsay opened his mouth. Kennedy had just finished his speech titled The Recipe of Humanity, a poetic address about unity, compassion, and how food could bridge cultures and heal hearts. The crowd gave polite applause, soft, respectful, but not roaring. And then, from the front row, Gordon Ramsay stood up, arms crossed, with that familiar mixture of smirk and scowl. "Well," Ramsay said, loud enough for the microphone to pick up, "that was interesting. But if that speech were a dish, I'd send it back to the kitchen overcooked with sentiment and underseasoned with truth." A wave of gasps rolled through the room. The audience froze, eyes darting between the legendary chef and the young speaker who had just been publicly insulted. Even the event host looked panicked, unsure whether to step in or let the moment unfold. Kennedy, however, didn't flinch. He simply smiled slowly, like someone who'd been waiting his whole life for a test like this. He walked back to the podium, his hand steady as he adjusted the microphone. "Chef Ramsay," he began, his tone calm but sharp, "I've always admired your honesty. You call things as you see them, and that's rare. But let me ask you, when you yell at a chef for overcooking the lamb, is it because you hate the chef, or because you know they can do better?" Ramsay raised an eyebrow. "Because they can do bloody better." "Exactly," Kennedy replied, nodding. "Then perhaps your critique is the compliment I didn't know I needed." A ripple of laughter broke the tension. Ramsay's smirk faded just slightly. Kennedy continued. "You see," he said, pacing slowly across the stage, "I didn't write that speech to win applause. I wrote it for a boy who once sat alone at a cafeteria table because no one wanted to share their lunch with him. I wrote it for the woman who skips her own meal to feed her children. I wrote it for every cook, every waiter, every dishwasher who believes that food is more than flavor, it's empathy served warm." The silence that followed was different this time. It wasn't awkward. It was heavy, thoughtful. Ramsay leaned back, arms still crossed, but his expression had softened. Kennedy looked straight at him and added, "And maybe, chef, you're right, it was overcooked with emotion. But sometimes, people need something a little overcooked to finally taste the truth." The audience erupted in applause. Cameras flashed. Even Ramsay, known for his fiery temper and biting remarks, cracked a reluctant grin.